Coming in at 10, Cole and Dylan Sprouse. Twin brothers Cole and Dylan Sprouse rose to fame when they landed the title roles on the 2005 Disney Channel sitcom The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, which ran until 2008, which saw the twins living in a lavish fictional hotel. As a result of the series' success, the two brothers became heartthrobs for young teens, and the following year the brothers launched a franchise known as the Sprouse Bros Band, which included a clothing line, book series, and magazine. In 2007 and 2010, Cole and Dylan were two of the wealthiest children alive, and were the highest paid teenage Disney actors, earning $40,000 per episode combined. Now of course, like all child actors, you grow up. The twins went off to college, both attending NYU, with plans to pursue acting once they graduated. However, only one was successful, Cole, who now stars as Jughead Jones on the television series Riverdale. He's grown up and has become quite the looker. Dylan, on the other hand, is a co-owner and brewmaster of the All-Wise Meadery in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, and because they're twins, they still look the same. However, Cole dons a dark do, while Dylan has his natural light brown locks. Coming in at 9, Anna Klumsky. Anna Klumsky is best known for playing the lead role of Ada Sultanfuss in My Girl alongside Macaulay Culkin all the way back in 1991. However, between 1999 and 2005, Klumsky's career began to slow down, resulting in the actress taking a hiatus and attending college. Following graduation, she returned to acting, starring in several indie films such as Blood Car and In the Loop, and from 2012 to 2019 she starred as Amy Bruckheimer in the incredibly successful HBO series Veep, for which she received 6 Emmy nominations. Now for most, they don't even realise that Klumsky is My Girl all grown up, with the actress looking strikingly different from her child acting days. Saying that, the smile definitely gives it away. Coming in at 8, Fred Savage. Fred Savage is probably best known for playing Kevin Arnold in the TV series The Wonder Years, which ran from 1988 to 1993, during which time he earned several awards and nominations, such as People's Choice and Young Artist Awards. You may also recognize him from the fan favorite movie The Princess Bride, which gained him national attention for playing the role of the grandson. The older Savage got the fewer roles he was landing, and he seems to focus instead on voice acting, lending his voice to projects like Family Guy, Kim Possible, Justice League Unlimited, and Holidays, The Christmas That Almost Didn't Happen. However, in 2017, Savage joined the cast of the Netflix series Friends from College, before hosting Child Support in 2018 alongside Ricky Gervais. Sadly, he didn't maintain the adorable cuteness he did when he was younger, but still resembles his Wonder Years even in his older years. Woo! Coming in at 7, Thomas Brodie Sangster. This is an obvious pick, but how could I avoid one of the cutest child actors in history, who made all of our collective hearts leap when he chased his crush through an airport just to talk to her. Other than his iconic role of Sam in Love Actually in 2003, Thomas also appeared in Nanny McPhee, I had to put it on the list, The Last Legion, and Nowhere Boy, where he played Paul McCartney. Of course, as of 2019, most will be familiar with him thanks to his role in Game of Thrones, where he had a reoccurring role for 10 episodes. Aside from that, he mostly focuses on voice acting, lending his sound to Thunderbirds A Go and American Dad. Looks-wise, Thomas pretty much looks exactly the same as he did in the early 2000s, only now he's taller. That's it. Coming in at 6, Tina Majorino. You may not know her name, but you definitely know her face. Tina is an actress that pops up everywhere in films such as Napoleon Dynamite and the TV series Veronica Mars. However, most of you will remember Tina during the 90s, when she was a child actor starring alongside Kevin Costner in Waterworld, or when she played the adorable Tony in Andre, or even as little Molly alongside Whoopi Goldberg in Corina. She had a thriving career in the 90s, but it wasn't until her 2004 role in Napoleon Dynamite that left fans asking where they recognized her from. And then jump to present day, fans are now asking whatever happened to that girl from Napoleon Dynamite. Well, the actress looks drastically different, sporting a short bob and usually dyed hair. In 2014, she starred in the Veronica Mars movie, and then Grey's Anatomy in 2012 to 2013. But aside from that, she hasn't done much of merit. Coming in at 5, Jerry O'Connell. Who could possibly forget everyone's favourite chubby Vern in Stand By Me, the film which saw a 12-year-old Jerry O'Connell star alongside Corey Feldman and River Phoenix in the heartwarming emotional coming-of-age film. Following his iconic role, he went on to appear in works such as Police Academy 5, Jerry Maguire, Scream 2, Can't Hardly Wait, and Clayton. Unlike a lot of other child actors, Jerry's career continued to thrive with works such as Scary Movie 5, Space Station 76, Piranha 3D, and Veronica Mars. Personally, I was shocked to discover that Jerry O'Connell was the child actor from some of my favourite films growing up, with the actor losing all of his baby weight, slimming up and looking completely different than his character Chubby Vern. Good for you, Jerry. Coming in at 4, Dante Basco. Dante Basco is probably not a name that will ring a bell, however you know him, just perhaps as another name instead. Rufio. That's right, this former child actor starred alongside the late great Robin Williams in Steven Spielberg's 1991 movie Hook, where he played the self-proclaimed leader of the Lost Boys, Rufio. He went on to have a successful acting career, but no role was iconic as the one that made him. Basco, now at the age of 44, has done a lot of voice acting for many animated productions, including Avatar: The Last Airbender, Saints Row, Skate 1, 2 and 3, and Mortal Kombat X. As of 2019, Basco looks a whole lot different than he did in 1991, when he was sporting a red and black mohawk and swinging around Neverland. Coming in at 3, Elijah Wood. Oh, Elijah. A lot of you younger viewers may be shocked that this Lord of the Rings actor is on our list, but yes, at one time he was a very popular child actor appearing in some of my favourite childhood movies. In the early 90s, a young Elijah began to achieve recognition for his acting after landing roles in works such as Avalon, Radio Flyer, The Adventures of Huck Finn, and The Good Son, where he starred alongside an evil Macaulay Culkin. However, unlike a lot of other child actors, his career never slowed, and into his teen years he continued to land roles, including in works such as The Faculty, Deep Impact, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, Sin City, Green Street, and of course his most iconic role, the Lord of the Rings franchise, where he plays Frodo Baggins. Once you see baby Elijah in his 90s roles, you will be shocked that you missed him. The actor has aged, but his baby face has never changed. Coming in at 2, Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen. A lot of you were upset that we didn't include the most iconic twins in history on our first part, but come on, that would have been way too obvious. The Olsen twins began acting at the age of just 6 months, when they were cast in the role of Michelle Tanner on the ABC sitcom Full House. In order to comply with child labour laws that set strict limits on how long a child actor may work, the sisters took turns playing the role. Genius. The twins continued to play the role up until the show's end in 1995. However, that was only the beginning for the twins. They went on to have their own TV show and series of movies, including So Little Time, Mary-Kate and Ashley in Action, and New York Minute. Following their success in acting, the twins turned to fashion, launching their own couture fashion label called The Row, named after Savile Row in London. And in 2012, the twins were named Women's Wear Designer of the Year by the Council of Fashion Designers of America. Not too shabby. Though successful, the twins certainly hide away from the spotlight and appear somber looking whenever papped, but for the most part they look like they did 10 years ago, just moodier. Finally coming in at number 1, Josh Peck. Keenan and Kel may have been an iconic duo in the 90s, but Drake and Josh were by far the most iconic duo in the 2000s. This TV series starred Drake Bell and Josh Peck as a couple of mismatched stepbrothers that you couldn't not love. The show was wickedly funny, with Drake being the good-looking musician and Josh being the chubby comedian of the two. However, how times have changed. During the 2000s, Josh Peck starred in works such as Snow Day, Mean Creek, Spun, and Drillbit Taylor, during which time many fans began to notice the actor shedding his weight and becoming lean. Now the former child actor resides on YouTube and makes frequent appearances in David Dobrik's vlogs. He leads a relatively quiet life with his longtime girlfriend Paige and their newborn son Max in LA. Also, he got really hot. He's hot. Would smash 10 out of 10. Coming in at 10, Ron Howard. A lot of our younger viewers may be surprised to see this Oscar-winning director on our list, but did you know his acting career began at the age of 5 when he played Opie Taylor on the Andy Griffith Show, all the way back in 1960. From there he went on to star in countless other shows before landing the part of Richie Cunningham in the 1970s hit Happy Days, before going on to star in American Graffiti. However, the actor quickly turned his attention to directing instead, with his first directing credit coming in 1977 for Grand Theft Auto. From there he went on to direct Willow, Far and Away, Apollo 13, A Beautiful Mind, Rush, and countless others. The director went on to even nab an Oscar for A Beautiful Mind, with Ron receiving the award for Best Picture and Best Director. Coming in at 9, Corey Feldman. Like a lot of our other numbers coming up on our list, Corey Feldman was an incredibly popular child star back in the 80s, appearing in many classics like Stand By Me, The Goonies, Gremlins, and of course The Lost Boys. Corey quite famously faced a public battle with drugs, which began shortly after filming The Burbs back in 1989, before the star re-established his career by starring starring in several lesser-known movies and even dabbling in music. Not only did his career make him a big name in Hollywood, but he was also known for being very close friends with Michael Jackson as a child and a teenager. However, Feldman would later go on to state that Jackson had done real damage to his childhood by befriending him and then abandoning him. Not only did he suffer at the hands of Jackson, but Feldman was also a victim of a Hollywood child sexual abuse scandal. According to the actor, he was molested by a man who identified himself as Ron Crimson, who Feldman also stated was the man who initiated his drug addiction. Feldman later went on to identify the man as actor Cloyd John Grissom. He also accused child agent Marty Weiss of sexually abusing him as well. The star of course looks a whole lot different than he did as a young boy due to years of drug abuse and emotional distress. Coming in at 8, Thora Birch. Back in the 1990s, Thora Birch was in all of our favourite childhood movies, with most of you recognising the star from the Halloween classic Hocus Pocus, before going on to star in Now and Then alongside another number on our list, Itsy Bitsy Spider and Patriot Games. The actress transitioned into more mature roles when she became a teenager, starring in Ghost World and American Beauty alongside he who must not be named, Kevin Spacey. However, her career took a nosedive when she began to get fired from roles due to her father, who was also her manager. Supposedly, he would get into a lot of arguments with some of her co-stars, which would result in her being removed from the film. Now, Birch is still acting, but she's definitely not appearing in any high caliber movies. Some of her recent projects include Train, Dark Corners, Petunia, and The Competition. All films I've never heard of. No hate, just facts. Coming in at 7, Peter Billingsley. Billingsley shot to fame when he starred as Ralphie Parker in the 1983 holiday classic A Christmas Story. However, outside of that role, the actor, who was destined for stardom, completely disappeared. In the late 1980s, the actor's career began to slow, with Billingsley only making guest appearances on a handful of shows before seemingly transitioning to another sector of the film industry, producing. Billingsley was the producer of 4 Christmases, starring Reese Witherspoon and Vince Vaughn, Iron Man, F is for Family, and Art of Conflict. Why did no one tell me he produced Iron Man? I feel duped. However, he hasn't completely given up on his career, with Billingsley making an uncredited appearance in Elf, playing Ming Ming. Coming in at 6, Christina Ricci. You may know this star as Wednesday Addams in The Addams Family, Kat in Casper, or even young Roberta in one of my favourite movies, Now and Then. It's safe to say the 90s were the decade of Christina Ricci, and her career did not halt unlike her fellow child actors. She is one of the few stars on our list that successfully managed to maintain her thriving career, with the actress having multiple acting credits to her name every year since 1993. As an adult, she has gone on to star in Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, Sleepy Hollow, Monster, and Ally McBeal. She also appeared in the short-lived series Pan Am alongside Margot Robbie, as well as played the title character in the Lizzie Borden Chronicles. While she hasn't stopped acting, Ricci has stated that the most important role in her life is now being a mother, and that she is a completely different person than she was before she had a son. Coming in at 5, Tia and Tamera Mowry. Tia and Tamera shot to fame when they starred in the Nickelodeon hit series Sister Sister back in 1994 and running up until 1999. Outside of the hit sitcom, the twins also appeared in Are You Afraid of the Dark, Twitches, and of course, Twitches 2. However, following those roles, their careers took a different path. The pair went on to star in their own reality TV show called Tia and Tamera, which ran from 2011 to 2013. However, the pair soon went their separate ways, with Tia going on to star in her own cooking channel series called Tia Mowry at Home, where she makes everything from mac and cheese, cake, pie, curry, and various types of cocktails. Tamera, on the other hand, stuck with TV and became a co-host on the popular series The Real back in 2013, where she still remains today. The twins look exactly like their younger selves, except slightly more mature and with a less 90s vibe. They will always be sister to me. Go home, Roger. That's a quote, I'm not just weird. Coming in at 4, Edward Furlong. Now, for a lot of you, the name Edward Furlong may not ring a bell. However, you definitely know who he is. As a child, he starred as John Connor in the Terminator franchise before going on to star in Pet Sematary 2, American History X, and American Heart. During the 90s, Edward Furlong was a certified heartthrob and was in all of the girls' magazines at the time. However, after coming off the high of American History X, where he starred alongside Edward Norton, Furlong found himself hospitalized in 2001 of a suspected overdose. Between the ages of 22 and 26, he was constantly on and off hard drugs, with the actor stating, I quote, "I was a heroin and cocaine addict. It was really scary." However, the star is now sober, stating in the same interview, "I don't even think about partying anymore. It seems lonely now, running and clubbing and doing coke. I have nightmares about doing hard drugs. I'll wake up and I'm like, Did I relapse? However, legal troubles continued to follow Furlong in 2010. He was placed on 3 years probation after he violated a restraining order placed on him by Rachel Bella. In October 2012, Furlong was arrested and charged with domestic violence against his then-girlfriend Monica Keena. In March 2013, Furlong was sentenced to 180 days in jail for a violation of probation and use of force against another ex. The legals continued through to 2014. As it stands, Furlong seems to now be on the straight and narrow, with the actor even set to reprise his role as John Connor in the 2019 film Terminator Dark Fate. Coming in at 3, Mara Wilson. Mara Wilson was a hot commodity back in the 90s, being one of the most successful child stars of all time, appearing in works such as Mrs. Doubtfire, Miracle on 34th Street, Matilda, and A Simple Wish. Wilson was on the path to be the next big thing in Hollywood. However, things didn't pan out that way for the star, who instead decided to quit acting and return to school instead. Her official retirement came after her role in the 2000 movie Thomas and the Magic Railroad. Since her retirement from Hollywood, she has been pursuing her passion for writing, even releasing her own book called Where Am I Now?, which was released in September 2016. Regarding her acting career, Wilson told NPR, I quote, "Sometimes I wish I had stopped after Matilda because I think that was really the peak for me. There wasn't really anywhere that I could go from there, so I think that I was already starting to age out of acting. I think it would have been a good time to reevaluate things, but I think that after my mother died, I felt like I had to keep going because film was the only constant in my life." Though she has retired, Wilson does still dabble every now and then in the entertainment world, appearing in an episode of Broad City as a waitress and BoJack Horseman as Jill Pill. The star has also become quite popular on social media, with her being incredibly vocal about anxiety, OCD, and depression. Now, of course, Mara looks a whole lot different than she did when she was 8 years old, starring in our favourite childhood movies, with most fans probably not even recognising her if they crossed her on the street. Coming in at 2, Jonathan Lipnicki. Oh, Jonathan Lipnicki. He was my absolute favourite growing up, with the child star appearing in films such as Jerry Maguire, Stuart Little, The Little Vampire, and Like Mike, my personal fave. He was a highly sought after star in the 90s, however, following a handful of successful film roles, the early 2000s brought about depression and bullying for the young actor, who was mostly starring in small roles and bit parts at the time. However, in 2012, Lipnicki had a 6-episode arc on the show Mother Lover before going on to star in 8 episodes of Interns of Field in 2016. You won't find the former child star appearing in any big movies anymore, opting instead for more independent features. However, what will come as a surprise to a lot of you now is that Jonathan Lipnicki is absolutely ripped. And tattered, but mostly ripped. Abs for days, and I'm all about it. And finally, coming in at number 1, Haley Joel Osment. Haley Joel Osment during a period of time was the biggest child star in the world and perhaps one of the most successful of all time. You would recognize this star from films such as The Sixth Sense, Pay It Forward, and AI Artificial Intelligence. Now, while The Sixth Sense garnered him a whole slew of awards and nominations for his performance as Cole, the boy who could see dead people, following 2003 he seemingly disappeared, opting instead to do more voice acting for TV shows and video games, including Kingdom Hearts. Recently, Haley Joel has been appearing frequently in more popular projects such as The Boys, Extremely Wicked, Shockingly Evil and Vile, and even in my favourite, NBA 2K19. Now, Haley Joel looks a whole lot different than he did when he was a young child. I mean, of course, it's called aging. He now dons a very large beard, but still has the doughy boyish charm we all knew and loved. Coming in at 10, Jodie Foster, The Doris Day Show. Jodie Foster is a legendary Hollywood actress who has received 2 Academy Awards throughout her career. She is best known for starring in films such as The Silence of the Lambs, Nell, Panic Room, Inside Man, and The Beaver. However, prior to all of these movies, Jodie started out as a child actor way back in the 1970s, when she appeared in Tom Sawyer, Napoleon and Samantha, Taxi Driver, and Freaky Friday. Outside of film, Jodie had quite the personal life, some parts quite terrifying. During her freshman year at Yale in 1980 to 81, Foster was stalked by John W. Hinckley Jr., who had developed an obsession with the actress after seeing her in Taxi Driver. He moved to New Haven and tried to contact her both through phone and letters. On March 30th, 1981, Hinckley attempted to assassinate US President Ronald Reagan, wounding him and 3 other people in the process. This of course put Foster in the public eye, forcing her to be accompanied by bodyguards while walking around campus. The incident was incredibly difficult for Foster, who rarely comments on it, but she did write an essay titled Why Me?, which was published in 1982 by Esquire magazine on the condition that there be no cover lines, no publicity, and no photos. As it stands, Foster has transitioned into directing episodes of Orange is the New Black, House of Cards, and Black Mirror. In at 9, Jake Lloyd, Star Wars: The Phantom Menace. Jake Lloyd, also known as Jake Broadbent, is a former child actor famous for appearing in Star Wars: The Phantom Menace as young Anakin Skywalker back in 1999. Lloyd received the Young Artist Award for Best Supporting Actor following the release. However, his performance was heavily criticized and was also nominated for a Golden Raspberry Award for Worst Supporting Actor. Lloyd ultimately retired from acting back in 2001 due to bullying at school. As a result of this, he decided to no longer keep his Star Wars memorabilia. Back in 2012, the former child star announced that he was directing a documentary highlighting the Tibetan refugees in India who are attempting to escape persecution by the Chinese government. However, on June 17, 2015, Lloyd was arrested in South Carolina under the name Jake Broadbent for reckless driving, driving without a license, and resisting arrest. He was forced to serve 10 months in jail, after which time he was transferred from jail to a psychiatric facility after being diagnosed with schizophrenia. In at 8, Austin St. John, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Born Jason Geiger, but professionally known as Austin St. John, he is an actor best known for playing Jason Lee Scott, aka the Red Ranger in the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, which debuted back in 1993. Now, although the series was hugely successful and garnered the actor international recognition, the long hours and low pay presented challenges for him, resulting in himself and a few other actors leaving the show during its second season. However, he did go on to reprise his role several times over in an episode of Power Rangers Wild Force and in the Power Rangers special, The Lost Episode. It has also been announced that St. John will reprise the role in a special team-up episode for season 2 of Power Rangers Beast Morphers in 2020. However, outside of acting, St. John began as a martial artist, holding a second-degree black belt in Taekwondo and a first-degree black belt in Judo. Additionally, he published a book on the subject titled Karate Warrior: A Beginner's Guide to Martial Arts, which was released back in 1996. Looks-wise, St. John looks a whole lot different than he did when he was a Power Ranger, billing out and losing hair, but still, the resemblance is there. In at 7, Jason David Frank, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Jason David Frank is an actor and professional mixed martial artist primarily known as playing Tommy Oliver, the Green Ranger, in the Power Rangers franchise alongside our previous number. Frank was an iconic Green Ranger appearing for 3 seasons in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers before transitioning into Power Rangers Zeo. He also expressed a lot of interest in developing a Green Ranger solo series or feature film after an encounter with Stan Lee at a comic book convention. Outside of acting though, Frank is an MMA fighter, announcing on August 21st, 2009 that he would be signing with Sucker Punch Entertainment, a sports marketing and management company specializing in MMA. Now, whether he has plans to ever return to the world of Power Rangers is unconfirmed, but here's hoping. But considering the actor is now covered completely in tattoos and looks a whole lot different than his former Green Ranger, I'm gonna go with no. In at 6, Melissa Joan Hart. Melissa Joan Hart hit the big leagues when she landed the titular role in the sitcom Clarissa Explains It All from 1991 to 1994, before going on to star as Sabrina in Sabrina the Teenage Witch, another hugely successful show which ran from 1996 to 2003. However, after Sabrina ended, her career opportunities began to dwindle. The actress directed her first movie, a 15-minute live-action short film called Mute, starring her sister Emily, before going on to guest star on an episode of Law & Order SVU back in 2007. In 2009, she competed in season 9 of Dancing with the Stars before going on to star in a horror thriller film entitled 9 Dead. Now, Hart does still appear on screen, but in nothing of merit, sadly, with Sabrina being the last successful role the actress had, well, aside from the TV series Melissa and Joey, but that show was trash and you know it. The actress looks exactly the same as she did in Sabrina the Teenage Witch, except older. That's it. In at 5, Ross Hull, Are You Afraid of the Dark? Ross Hull first appeared on our screens back in 1987 when he began his acting career with the film Nowhere to Hide before landing the lead role of Gary, the creator of the Midnight Society, in Are You Afraid of the Dark, a series which ran from 1990 to 1996 with a second run from 1999 to 2000. He went on to appear in a handful of works such as Ready or Not and the iconic Canadian series Student Bodies. However, Hull took a different career path later down the line. In January 2005, Hull became a weather personality on Canada's The Weather Network after graduating from Mississippi State University with a degree in meteorology and a degree in radio and television arts from Ryerson University in Toronto. In early 2013, Hull appeared as the weather anchor for CBC Ottawa and CBC News Network before subsequently becoming the weather anchor for CBC Toronto. As it stands, Hull is a meteorologist working in Toronto, Montreal, Halifax, and New Brunswick. Looks-wise, you definitely wouldn't recognize the former child star delivering bring you your morning weather update, that's for sure. Coming in at 4, Jake T. Austin, Wizards of Waverly Place. Jake T. Austin is a former child actor famous for starring alongside Selena Gomez in Wizards of Waverly Place and as the voice of Diego in Go Diego Go. Austin then went on to portray Jesus Foster on the ABC family The Fosters up until 2015. However, as it stands, Austin hasn't appeared in much of anything, with his last appearance coming in 2017 in Justice League Action, and prior to that he was on Dancing with the Stars, the show where everyone's careers die. However, in October 2018 it was announced that Austin would be joining the cast of Adverse, a neo-noir thriller starring Mickey Rourke, which is slated to hit theatres this year. Considering it seemed as though the actor was on the outs in Hollywood, this is great news for the young star who seems to be distancing himself from his former Disney roots. In at 3, Abigail Breslin, Little Miss Sunshine. Abigail Breslin first appeared on our screens when she was just 3 years old in Signs back in 2002, before going on to star in films such as Raising Helen, Little Miss Sunshine, No Reservations, Nim's Island, Definitely Maybe, and My Sister's Keeper. At just 10 years old, Breslin was one of the youngest actors ever to be nominated for an Academy Award, a recognition she received for Little Miss Sunshine. In 2017, Breslin went on to star in the remake of Dirty Dancing, a beloved classic that is incredibly hard to top. And of course the remake was pandas and unnecessary. It was complete. Since then, she hasn't appeared in anything much, but will be reprising her role as Little Rock in Zombieland Double Tap this year. If you look at her in Little Miss Sunshine and look at her now, you wouldn't believe they were the same people. In at 2, Dakota Fanning. Born Hannah Dakota Fanning, this actress is most popular for appearing in films such as Uptown Girls, The Cat in the Hat, Man on Fire, War of the Worlds, and Charlotte's Web. As the child star got older though, she began to transition into more mature roles, starring in The Secret Life of Bees, Coraline, The Runaways, and of course, The Twilight Saga. However, outside of acting, Fanning attended the Galveston School of Individualized Study at New York University, where she majored in women's studies with the focus on the portrayal of women in film and culture. However, she is now back in the world of film, recently appearing in Ocean's 8, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and Now Is Good. The actress looks almost identical to her younger self, just more mature and with more teeth. And finally, in at number 1, Joshua Jackson, The Mighty Ducks. Joshua Jackson rose to fame when he starred as Charlie Conway alongside Emilio Estevez in The Mighty Ducks all the way back in 1992, where he played a young and aspiring hockey player. Following the franchise's success, Jackson went on to star as Pacey Witter on Dawson's Creek from 1998 to 2003, and while the show was on hiatus, he appeared in several movies including Cruel Intentions, The Skulls, The Laramie Project, and Ocean's 11. The actor is a rare breed, and unlike a lot of child stars, continued to find success with each new role. Between 2014 and 2018, Jackson was appearing in Showtime's The Affair as Cole Lockhart, and has made a handful of cameo appearances in shows like Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt and When They See Us. The star is still going strong in TV, but doesn't seem to be doing much on the film front. Looks-wise, you likely wouldn't realize Jackson was Charlie Conway in The Mighty Ducks unless you did your research. To be honest, that's still his greatest role. The Flying V. I still get chills.